Auburn blows out Alabama A&M 73-3. Let's talk about it on this edition of the Uptempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes, sir. Uptempo gang, Auburn family. We are back live at you Sunday morning with the reaction pod to Auburn's 800 all-time win yesterday.
Let's go.
Hell of a benchmark, man. 13th program in history. Don't y'all ever forget, we do this football thing. Man. What a big-time win for Auburn. 73-3 over the Alabama A&M Bulldogs to start off the season 1-0. And Blake, I'll just kick it to you like this. Brother, you got your explosive plays.
Got the explosive plays. It felt good to wake up on a Sunday morning and feet hit the ground and you say, hey, the Auburn Tigers won a football game last night and looked pretty damn good doing it too. And, you know, we talk about Payton Thorne and all of that stuff and what we wanted him to look like. Man, how about these young cats? There was young stars all over the field last night. And I think that is one thing that stuck out the most to me. You look at Blockton, I mean, just getting in there and having himself a game. That's one thing that really, Amaris Williams, it popped last night. That the future at Auburn is really, really bright. We'll talk about the game in just a second. But what Hugh Freeze is doing, and that 2024 recruiting class, they're already stepping out onto the field. I don't give a piss if it was Alabama A&M or not. Some of them were starting. So the future is bright. We might not get in that thing this year, but in the future, we're going to be kicking the door down. And that's what got me really, really excited, was watching those young cats get out there, not only make plays offensively, but make plays defensively, flying around to the football. It looked super crisp, Dustin. It looked like a breath of fresh air for Auburn football. And just to make those explosive plays and have the defense flying around, it looked like a brand new era. And you know, you look at year one of Hugh and you look at last night and you say completely different. Yeah. It looks night and day. And I think that's something we can hang our hat on, man. I think what happened last night is something that we look to Saturday, and we got Cal, and we know how big of a football game this is for our program. You can sit here and say, hey, that looked pretty dang good. It's not looking like it did last year, and now we got a little confidence going into Cal. You got a Jarquez Hunter that looks like he's damn ready, son. I mean, that 27 is toting the tater, and he's a specimen, son. It only took him one touch last night. So those are the things that got me excited. I'm ready for Cal Saturday, and that's where we're really going to see what we're about. If we go out there, we cover that spread against Cal, we dominate the line of scrimmage, then you're going to see me bug even harder, Dustin.
Yeah, before we get into it and just kind of break the game down, I said it last night on the War Report, it feels different, man.
Yep.
Understand the opponent, know that Alabama A&M's not going to be a good team even in their level of play. Yep. But still, dude, like we've seen over these past couple of years, Auburn struggle with opponents that they shouldn't struggle with. I'm not going to go through the time and name the names. Like y'all know.
Yep.
And what have I said all summer? I want to just watch it and know there's a sense of direction. Know there's a foundation. This felt like the Hugh Freeze offense. I said, oh, that's what I watched you do at Ole Miss. That's what I watched you do at Liberty. And I think that you see that in the way he was engaged in his coaching. Up by 50 points, still getting in guys' ass, right? We were already up by 21 when PT had that bad throw to Lambert Smith, and Hugh got him when he came back to the sideline. He's engaged. It's his offense. And he wants to bury last year. He knows that ain't him. He knows he's better than that. He said at the post game of the bowl game last year, I did a bad job this year. He's a prideful guy. He feels like he's one of the best coaches in the country, and he should. He's already proven he's one of the best recruiters in the country. So now comes the second part of that. And when you see guys like Malik Blockton out there making plays, first drive, second drive into the game, the first play of our season was a pass to a true freshman in Malcolm Simmons.
Yep.
Crazy, dude. Just crazy. And then we cut the game in half on some middle school stuff to just kind of help Alabama A&M out. And, I didn't like that because I've been waiting all summer and I would like to blow you out and keep doing it. But I understand from the simple fact of you still don't have your depth quite where you want it to be. And you just don't want to, it cuts down on the injury risk.
Yep.
I know Hugh probably wanted to get Walker White some reps, but you just kind of have to weigh it right there and say, okay, could somebody get hurt that I am going to be depending on? Seeing the guys do we'll do players of the game on each side of the ball at the end of the podcast, but I mean, Robert Woodyard's in contention for defensive player of the game. My guy was all over the field, man. So just really, really encouraged. The little things. We talked about culture a lot during the summer. Listen, you can't overlook this stuff. The sideline had juice.
Yep.
And I can point back to games that even Auburn won handily last year where people were kind of separate on the sideline. It's just little stuff, man. Mike G on the post game last night, he talked about how in the locker room, guys are coming by, slapping Payton on the shoulder. Hey, QB1, baby, we got you. Hell yeah, QB1. It just feels different. It feels like, all right, we really are in this thing together. So great first step, man. We all understand the opponent. I know that comment. Well, I can see you in the future. I see the Gumps already in our comments. Alabama A&M, as they at the same time said the same stuff that we're saying about our team, about their win over TJ Finley in Western Kentucky. Like that's some big time opponent. I already see you guys. You can only play who you can play, man. So all that being said, just looking at the little stuff, dude, the game plan. Hey, we didn't rotate quarterbacks mid-drive.
Yeah.
That was nice. Haven't seen that in 2 or 3 years at Auburn. So I just like the direction, man. I think that everything I think this team is together. All the stuff we heard about continuity, everybody being on the same page. I think you saw that. Now, just as the season goes, it's just, hey, we saw it. We are depending on a lot of young cats. So we're going to be in moments for tough SEC teams with more experience and all that. There's going to be highs. There's going to be lows. How much of these young guys progress throughout the season? And that'll kind of be the story of exactly where the win total falls. But it's just initial reaction to what we saw last night. It's hard to look at this and say, dude, the future at Auburn, I mean, how can you not think that it's really, really bright? And then you look at the recruiting list of 25 and 26 guys that was there. Blake, right before we hit live, predictions now coming in for Chroma, the running back, 4-star running back. So, and we know that, the QB flips on the horizon and everything that's coming with that. And, you see 4-star linebackers from Miami decommitting, and then 30 minutes later, Crystal Ball is coming in for Auburn. Like, man, we know what it is. And now I think you're starting to see the proof of concept on the field that's only going to help you like that even more. I mean, and then here too, Blake, before we get into breaking the game down, you tell all these young cats, you come to Auburn, I'm going to put you on the field. Showed it. You put that on tape. All right, you come to Auburn, you're going to get to play early, at least right now. So, but yeah, man, just let's get over here to the offense, Blake, because all summer the discussion was Payton Thorne. How Auburn will go as the quarterback goes. And our guy goes out and goes 13 for 21, 322 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 carries for 49 yards and a touchdown. Just kind of talk about QB1's performance and what you saw.
Man, I thought Payton Thorne played really, really well. And there was that one drive where he missed Perry, and that's not what Hugh was really mad about. Hugh was mad, and he was coaching Payton up on Payton missing a read there. And then he had the missed throw to Lambert Smith. And that was that drive where we were like, man, we can't have that next Saturday. But you take that out, I thought he played I would give him B+ stuff, man, last night. I thought he was really, really effective, especially with the legs, pulling that and just using that last night and saying, okay, it's still there. It's still going to be there this year, because we were wondering how much Payton was going to use his legs this year. How much was he going to, on that read option, how much was he going to tuck it and take off and make the defense still respect it? And he showed it last night. So as far as him being crisp, getting the ball out quick, getting it to his playmakers, taking the shots down the field is what I was really excited to see. That Cam Coleman double move was absolutely filthy. And look, he didn't play much last night because there was no need. Uh, I liked how Peyton spread it out, man. He spread the ball around and he got it to his young guys. He got it to his veterans. Um, I just think that was the performance that you wanted to see. No turnovers from Payton Thorne. None. That is what you wanted to see. If we go into this game and we see Peyton have 2 turnovers, we're worried Saturday against Cal. We're sitting here questioning, hey, you're going to have the Hank Brown rumors pop up and everything like that. Peyton was flawless. He did his job and he went out there and he handled the offense. You didn't see false start penalties. You didn't see guys that weren't lined up right. That was a huge problem we had last year. We were damn 8 weeks into the season and Hugh was saying, hey man, we still can't get lined up right. Like it looked different, like you said, Dustin. It felt different. And it just seemed like he's got a little confidence this year. And I think that is a big point that you brought up with Hugh. Y'all, he knows how to coach these kids. And when Peyton would mess up, when Peyton wouldn't see a read, he would just walk up to Peyton and you're up. Yeah, you're up 4 touchdowns, whatever. He would walk up to Peyton, take the headset off and say, hey, what are we doing? Because it's accountability. You have to hold yourself to a standard. And I know I always say it, man, that is what, when I watched Nick Saban, that is how he carried his program. I remember him wearing A.J. McCarron out against Mississippi State, and they're up 50. And that's what last night, as soon as that happened with Hugh to Peyton, I said, hey, baby, I said, things are different. He's chewing ass right now. Excuse my language, but he's getting after him because that's how you got to do it. Because when you come back that next drive, you work on it, you fix it, you get it right. I thought Peyton played pretty dang good, man. And it's got me excited to see him against Cal Saturday. Hey, this is a redemption game for Payton Thorne. I know he threw a game winner last year and all that good stuff, but it wasn't what we wanted last year. This is a redemption game because this is a team that thinks that they can hang with you. They think that they can hang with Payton Thorne and this Auburn offense. And from what I saw yesterday, if we don't cover this spread pretty easily, I'm going to be disappointed because I don't think their defense can hang with our offense after what I watched yesterday in week 1 of college football. So that's how excited I am, Dustin, with watching Payton Thorne and his performance yesterday.
Yeah, Cal secondary struggled to cover UC Davis for the large portion of that game. Be here Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Our guy Thomas Dunn, beat writer for the Cal Golden Bears, will be coming in, and we will kick off our preview week for that. Really excited. I agree with you, man. He didn't play that well, and this is an opportunity for Auburn to make a big statement. 73-3, you did everything you could do. So now the obvious thing people are going to say is, all right, well, let's see it against a Power 4 opponent. So you got that chance next week. 2:30 ESPN2. I'm already ready for it, man. It's like you said, just good to wake up and see, just have that Auburn victory feeling in your stomach again. Like it's going to be a good Sunday. And as far as PT goes, Blake, the thing that I liked, 13-21 is not the most efficient of days, but a couple things on that is that, one, you have a whole, look at all the freshmen that were out there, and even the guys that weren't freshmen. Lambert Smith, it was his first game in the offense. So you're still working in a lot of new pieces. Malcolm had a drop. Rivaldo had a terrible drop. And then a couple of the majority of the incompletions, really minus only one, were out of harm's way. The deep ball to Perry maybe could have been just a little bit closer to Perry, but I'm okay with it because Perry's going to go get that more times than he's not. So just put it out there where the DB can't get to it. And maybe in an SEC setting, that DB is even tighter, and that's kind of the only place you can put that ball. And Perry's going to be making that play by the end of the year. Blake, me and you've seen him make that play plenty of times in person. So, that's my thing too with Payton. It's like it just looks smart. He just looked confident, poised, in control. His decisions in the read option game. When he decided to run it, I loved the play call down there on the goal line on his rushing touchdown. I thought that was filthy. Another thing, man, goal line, red zone play calling. Hugh Freeze has said since he came to Auburn, he feels confident in his play calls in the red zone. But due to kind of the setup last year, he really couldn't even get his input too much in on that. That pass to Lambert Smith was such a beautiful play call to get KLS open. So to see us have some good, some nice, effective plays and a game plan in the red zone, because we've talked about it plenty, man. Auburn can march the ball in between the 20s, especially under Gus. We could get in between the 20s. It was just punching that thing in the red zone where it got tight. I thought there was some creative play calling down there. And PT just looked confident, man. He looks like he's got guys that he knows. The Cam Coleman double move, like how sweet is that to see? Throwing it down there multiple times to Perry deep, trusting Perry to go get it. He knows that he's got weapons. I think he knows that the team has his back, the coaching staff has his back, and minus the crazy people, the fringe people on the internet that you can't do anything about, this fan base has his back, man. So it just feels good, and I think he was just clean, effective. He's not gonna. I never expected him to come out and be 18 for 20 in week one, working in a whole group of new wide receivers. Your first game in this new offense with Derek Nix and Hugh Freeze really kind of establishing his offense and all that. Love to see us stay ahead of the chains, 4-6 on third down. So you really didn't even have to face third down too much. And when you did, you weren't in bad situations. And again, dude, explosive plays like Alabama A&M dominated time of possession because Auburn was scoring really quick. And this is the thing that I like to see the most. I love being up by 70 points and throwing the ball with 2 minutes to go on the drive. Hugh, and he said it in the postgame. He said, "I'm executing my offense.
Yep.
I'm not trying to blow anybody out. We're trying to have sportsmanship and all that. But how many? You're only going to be able to get Hank Brown and Holden so many reps throughout the season. Here's your opportunity. So." Just running the offense the whole game. And he was asked in the postgame, Blake, about the run to pass ratio, and he said, "This is my offense now." So it just depends on what the defense gives us. The defense said that we're going to put the guys in the box and we're going to stop you, and they didn't back off that. And our offense is, when they do that, then we decide to pass. So score doesn't matter. We're just executing our offense. This is the real RPO system. And it made me feel good that a team lined up on Auburn, regardless of opponent, and said, "We'll stop the run," which they didn't do. But Auburn had the ability to say, "Okay, cool, we'll execute the pass part of that." And that made me feel good too, Blake. As far as change of mindset, I'll kick your ass and I'll keep throwing the ball all game. I don't care.
I'll tell you something. That sportsmanship stuff,
sure,
that's middle school. All right, that's middle school stuff, in my opinion. Look, you're trying to execute your offense. You're trying to make up for what happened last year, right? You got to make strides, and you're playing a team where you're up. Your backups are getting some run. You're trying to prepare yourself, your team. What if PT goes down, and you're over here just straight handing the ball off with Hank Brown? Look, Hank Brown needs reps. Holden needs reps. Like. You got to throw it, man. All that sportsmanship stuff. If you want to see sportsmanship, watch the Little League World Series. All right, go watch middle school football. That's sportsmanship stuff. Look, they're college athletes, and our former Heisman quarterback used to say all the time, "If you want to stop me, if you want to keep me out of the end zone, then stop me from getting in it." And that's how I feel. If you want it to be a competitive ball game, then stop me. That's how it goes, man. That's part of athletics. That's part of sports. And, I liked seeing Auburn air it out. I thought it was great. When you look back in the past, Dustin, what would Auburn have done? Just say against a couple years ago, Mercer. All right. We get up 38-0 or 38-3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we just go strictly to running the football. And it's like, all right, let's get out of here. It's 45-3. Let's call it a day. You're not getting better by doing that. You're not working on things.
Right.
There was a play late where guy Bryce Kane at the very end of the game, he catches a ball, gets a great little pickup, goes right back to him, and he fumbles. That's a learning lesson right there. All right, we got to protect the football. You're going to be on the field. You're a true freshman with a lot of hype. You're going to get your run on the field. It's time to protect the football. And things like that don't happen if you're just running base vanilla fall camp install. All right. Stuff like that. You don't learn from stuff like that. So yeah, Hugh Freeze did his job. And hey, I hate it for Alabama A&M for giving up 73, but it happens, man. You played 10-minute quarters in the second half, and good luck to you the rest of the season. Auburn wasn't trying to embarrass anybody. Auburn was just trying to get ready for Cal, Arkansas, those P4, P5, whatever you want to call them, opponents that are coming up.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 touchdowns from Hank Brown, like, how important is that to his career, that
Yeah.
development? Like, it's invaluable, man. So you gotta do what you gotta do. What's the best for Auburn. Before we get over here and talk about the defensive side of the ball, DJ Durkin making his debut, I want to holler at the people. Got a good crowd coming in here. Daniel asked, should we be worried about Vandy? Not yet. Not yet, brother. Shout out to Vandy. Shout out to Vandy. Big win yesterday. We faced Vandy November 11th. Let's see how their depth holds up when we get to that point in the season.
I want to say
VT was a little overhyped.
The ACC is besides. Hey, that Miami now, but the ACC is something, man. That conference is just. I mean, it's bad. But one thing I'll say about Vandy is I saw a different vibe from the stadium, from the sideline. Pavea is an absolute dog. I mean, kid just look, he's never going to play in the NFL, but kid just brings it. And kudos to Clark Lee and that program, man, for just winning a game that nobody gave you a chance. Like everybody was saying, even the whole game day crew was like, "Hey, Virginia Tech, they're ACC sleepers. Like they're gonna cover the spread easy on Vandy." And I mean, heck of a Saturday in Nashville, man. Proud of those boys. I'm not really worried about them, just because I think you get them at home. You've seen Pavea and what he's about, and I think, yeah, like you said, Dustin, we play him in November. Let's see where we're at in the season there.
Yeah, they're going to have some injuries. We'll see what their second and third strings are like. Nice little super chat here from our man Chris Oaks. Says, considering they held Rob Lewis back because of injury, I think the offense can get even better than what we saw. Absolutely. Like, I'm sure that there was a whole lot of stuff that Auburn could have ran that we didn't run. I mean, look, Jeremiah Cobb got hot on one drive and we didn't see him again. There's a whole lot in that toolbox. Damari was doing his thing. Jarquez had, 4 or 5 carries total. Like, there's a whole lot that we didn't show. We're just scratching the surface. And, I expect Robert Lewis to contribute and be a big part of the offense as the season goes on. Samuels, the sniper, renews his membership back for another month. Yeah, I believe you got rewarded one last month, right? Got gifted one. So now he comes back in and signs up for real this time. And we appreciate you, brother, being here and supporting the show. Blake says, Mosi was the best linebacker on the field last night. Hey, man, he was a dog. Me and Blake were talking about it before we recorded. Like him, Robert Lewis, they were doing their thing. And he was, man, in pass coverage. I was really impressed with him in pass coverage, Blake.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed. I know I texted you last night and I said, this kid, he's got a motor on him. He's flying to the football. He is great in coverage. I was really, really impressed with Mausi and his knowledge of the game, man. I really feel like he's going to be an asset to this defense and DJ Durkin. And he might take a little heat off that linebacker room, man. And I like what you said about Robert Woodyard. He looks like a different player this year.
Yeah,
and he's thinner, leaner. Just looks like he's quicker and really understanding how that defense works. Maybe it fits him a little bit more than what Ron Roberts brought to the table. You know, I just think he might be in a better situation. He was flying to the football as well last night. This defense looks promising. I know the competition and all of that, but it was fun last night. It looks promising. There was a couple of looks that DJ, he got excited with, and you could see him over there having some fun on the sideline. But then there was a couple times where he was sitting there saying, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" So there's a couple things to clean up, but I really liked what I saw last night.
Yeah, when we talked about how Hugh was steady coaching, DJ didn't let up either.
Yes.
He stayed on him too. The weakest link says we saw a couple of runs from Jarquez, but that hurdle was crazy. They're going to be fun to watch. Hey, Jarquez got to bust a hurdle out, man. He's got to jump over somebody, man, to kick the season off.
Yeah, been seeing that since Penn State back in 21. I mean, that man was a dog back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Devin's in here saying, what a game yesterday. Yeah, everybody have fun. It just felt different. Brett is listening to us from Buc-ee's. Brett was in Auburn yesterday, so I'm sure he's at the Buc-ee's outside of Auburn. Yeah, dude, crank that up tempo up in Buc-ee's. That sounds like some War Eagle vibes to me, my guy.
What kind of sandwich did you get, Brett? Like, what? I got to know that Buc-ee's. Let me know. There's some heat in there.
Come away with. I'll tell you what. I don't care what time it is. It could be 8 a.m. I'm getting me some of that M&M fudge, bro. Some of that fudge with the M&Ms in them. I'm doing it. Kyle becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate you, brother. So we're gonna get over here and talk about the defense. Welcome to the game, Kyle. Before we do that, we'll let you know and anybody else interested in the memberships what you're gonna get. $3.99 a month for the JV squad. You will be able to get it in the game day group chat. You will get member shout outs, priority reply to comment, and early access to videos. $5.99 a month gets you in the varsity squad where you get the recruiting update videos, and we are constantly dropping 2 or 3 a week at this point. Gameplay with you can hop up in this up-tempo dynasty mode. I think Blake's like undefeated with Florida Atlantic. I got Middle Tennessee at 6-2, baby. We bowl eligible. We're in there.
Yeah.
And shout out to my guy Trevor. We played a nail biter the other day. He was Jacksonville State over there. Watch the film. We're doing watch the film on recruits. Current recruits, guys that we're after, guys that are committed. We go and watch the games ourselves, break down our clips, tell you what we see, and also get some intel, man. We're developing relationships with parents and all those kind of things, developing relationships with the players and everything else. So getting some nice intel for you guys, letting you guys know what's going on in the recruiting game as well. We continue to build our sources and all that. We're still new in this game, baby. This is only our second season, but we are steady rising. So a lot of watch the film stuff there as well. When basketball season comes around, we'll be doing a lot of that. Blake will be breaking down the baseball. Baseball's a long way away, but I can tell you what, these boys are going to be on a redemption tour for sure. And then discounted merchandise. So, yeah, man, join the gang. We got all kind of stuff going on and a whole lot of recruiting content dropping for you guys this week because I think there's going to be a lot of commitments coming in there. And I'm really impressed with what I've seen of our guy, Dante Core. And then this Friday, I will be at the Auburn Opelika game because I'll be in town for Auburn Cal checking out Malik Autry. So lots of exclusive member content coming at y'all, bro. Join the gang.
Shout out to Brett for going undefeated on his picks.
Oh, betting with Blake too. Yeah,
the betting with Blake thing yesterday was week 1 episode. Brett locking it up. Heck of a day from him. Once again, not asking you to put any money on those picks or anything like that. It's just something where I released the video. You put it in your comments, give us 3-4 picks, whatever you feel comfortable with. Your record will be logged in, and we'll keep up with it. And at the end of the year, we'll give you some merch, maybe a gift card, something like that we can send to you. And we appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah. So if you pay for the membership, Blake's gonna help you win the money right back. Blake's gonna help you win the money right back, man. So sign up.
That Old Dominion pick, it felt good. I said, hey, there's no way South Carolina beats Old Dominion by 21 plus. All right, get Old Dominion, ride the wagon, because South Carolina's trash, man.
Yeah, it's Beamers flapping in the wind out there. Old Sunbelt Billy flapping in the wind down there in Gainesville. We got some answers in week 1, I feel like. But let's get over here to the defensive side of the ball, Blake, and just DJ Durkin makes his debut. We only gave up 3 points. I had the total stats going down here on the bottom of the screen earlier. Alabama A&M with 240 total. They came away with 204 on the ground and then, or excuse me, 204 through the air, and then
Yeah.
36 on the ground. And a lot of that 204 through the air came on a ball where J.C. Hart was in position to make the play. He did everything right, but actually make the play, and they ended up getting a chunk gain. And the defense comes away with a goal line stop there, and they get no points out of it. Their kicking situation down there at Alabama A&M is going to be rough. But yeah, man, overall, Blake, my just initial thoughts is I saw a lot of young cats, just like on offense, flying around doing things. I think DJ kept it pretty vanilla last night. Like, I know there's a whole lot more as far as exotic blitzes and blitz packages coming from him. Guys that stood out to me, I thought Kane Lee had an excellent game. The pass interference on him was complete crap. That was one of the softest calls you're going to see. I thought he was great. We mentioned Maosi, Robert Woodard was great. Malik Blockton, like, have yourself a night, man. So that's just kind of my first takeaways. Is just I saw a lot of young cats out there making plays, a lot of new faces, and like Eugene looked like Eugene, Keldrick looked like Keldrick, Kay and Lee looked like Keldrick or Kay and Lee. Sylvester Smith looked nice. Crawford had some good plays, so I was impressed, man.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of young guys, a lot of guys rotating in. I felt like they played a pretty dang good game, man. And the J.C. Hart play, that's one of them where your eyes get so bright, they get so big, and he's just like, "Come here." And he finds out that's why he plays defense, right? Because he can't catch. But first game of the year, man, I'm gonna cut him some slack. The defense did their job right there. That's the thing is, I think in years past, when we look back on it, defense probably gives up a touchdown there, and this defense looked like they bowed their neck, and they made a stop. And A&M, unfortunately, they got some struggles down there in their kicking game. Hopefully they can get that fixed moving forward for the rest of their season. But I like the speed of the defense last night. I felt like we gang tackled, man. That was a big deal to me. Is we flew to the football. We weren't over pursuing a whole lot. We were gang tackling. Short, minimal gains for Alabama A&M. The run D was there. There was a couple times where Alabama A&M found a little success, but I was really impressed with the young guys getting on the field. Amaris, I felt like he's got a high motor, man. He just kept coming and coming and coming and getting after it, finding the football. Blocked him, man. I just feel like he's going to be an absolute stud. I mean, for you to make that kind of impact, game one, getting on the field, getting the start, and just having that motor, getting the TFL, that's a big deal to me. That's a big deal to me as a freshman, and coming in as your brother leaves and you taking over.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet right there. That's like one of them Cinderella stories. And I'm just impressed, man. It's something to hang your hat on. Like I said earlier, is also felt like tackling in open space was a bit better than it was last year.
That's a fact.
Yeah, like last year we had some spots where it's just 3rd and 8. Just say 3rd and 8, and you throw a ball out in the flats. Auburn couldn't tackle in space last year. You got to come up and hit somebody and wrap up and drive them legs to the ground, man. And last year it was a lot of arm tackling, trying to cut their knees out from under them and all that. I felt like last night Auburn come up and laid the wood with a purpose, and they hit you last night. So I was impressed with that. I think this defense is being coached really, really well by DJ Durkin. I agree with you. I loved his energy on the sideline. He continued to coach the entire game. And this defense is young, but they're fast. They pin their ears back. They get after it. And there was a little pressure on the quarterback last night. There was a couple times where we didn't get home, but there was some times where Auburn got after it, man, and they made life tough on the Alabama A&M quarterbacks. because they were doing some funky rotation last night that just it was super weird. But I give it to them, man. I give them, I give them a solid B, and for the job that they did, and B plus, and next week you got a little bit better competition rolling in here. So I'm not one of those that's going to just straight bug through the roof and just oh my god, because it is Alabama A&M. But I expect the same performance against Cal Saturday that I saw yesterday against Alabama A&M.
Yeah, so Jalen McLeod had a sack, Keldrick Falk had
Oh,
a sack, and
oh,
Malik had a sack. And looking at McLeod, looked healthy, looked quick, looked
yep,
fast. He had 5 tackles on the day. I remember like twice they tried to get him on the outside, and it's like, you're not getting past me, dude. He broke down, made the tackle. So yeah, if you tell me, before the game, like Keldrick's gonna have a sack, Jalen's gonna have a sack, good. Like we're gonna need that. Both of them guys need to be up there around at least 8, 9 sacks this season, and they look good. And it was nice to see, us have the depth at least for this game to be able to rotate a lot of guys in there. I mean, I saw a lot of guys getting in on that defensive line and getting in there early, so kind of kept Keldrick fresh and able to keep Jalen fresh and all that. So yeah, and like I said, I think that DJ came out with his base, like the
yep,
base of what he can do. He did not
no
show a
doubt.
lot. Really stuck a lot of those young corners in man, and just to see what they got out there. I mean, Crawford was in man a lot. J.C. Hart was in man a lot. At least that's my initial reaction. We know
Yep.
Ike over the War Report will do the film breakdown later in the week, and I'm kind of looking forward to that because especially on the offensive line to kind of see how our different lineups played and all that kind of stuff.
How
But
about them?
yeah, hey man, just good start, and
Yeah.
I just love seeing like on the other line, seeing like DeAndre Carter, Braden Joyner, a freshman and a redshirt freshman in the 2 deep out
Yep.
there early, being productive, moving guys. I said it last night. I was like, man, for the first time ever, I feel optimistic about the future of Auburn's offensive line. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's in. So yeah, that felt great, man. Shout out to Jake Thornton. And as far as the secondary goes, JC has some struggles. But I thought that he also made some nice plays in the fourth quarter to kind of bounce back. And
Yep.
it's his first game. It's his first game, really getting real reps and all that. He's still just a redshirt freshman. Played low level competition out there in small town Alabama. So like it's his first live reps, and as I would rather you be in position to make the play and you just didn't finish it versus you getting toasted. So like, so he'll be fine, man. Same thing like over on the offensive side with Bryce Kane. He's going to be
Yep.
fine. He's going to be fine. It's not going to be just perfect. Some freshmen are going to make some mistakes. But the same thing I said on the offensive side, you get fired up when you see freshman wide receivers go for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, of course you get optimistic about the future. Well, I
Yep.
feel the same way looking at the defense, seeing all these young cats. Like I said, I think Sylvester Smith was really, really solid. I think that Kay and Lee, who's still only a sophomore, like you think about guys like Keldrick and Kay and Connor Liu, the 3 big flips that Hugh pulled off when he first came in. You got those guys for 2 more years. Like you still got
Mm.
all of this year and all of next year. They're only going to continue to get better.
Yep.
And then so like think about where those guys are now. Think about where Keldrick is right now. And then ask yourself, where's a guy like Jalen Crawford and Malik Blockton as we get into next year? And they have as their true sophomores ready to really be those guys. Like they're going to be in the same place that Keldrick, like we hope so anyway, that they continue that development. So I see us stacking talent. And on the defensive side, this defensive class, this 2025 class, is so silly. Eric Winters is the truth. Anquan
Yep.
Fagans is the truth. That defensive line from Kalen Edwards to Antonio Coleman, like, bro, it's nuts. To Crawford, like, it's stacked. It's going to be the best defensive class that Auburn's ever signed. It just is. And we've put together some pretty solid defensive classes. So looking at the young cats that are already on this roster, already making plays day one, and to know like where they're going to land, where they can end up, the ceiling for those guys. And then I look at what's coming in. Hell, I can go down to the 2026 class. This is defensive studs. Our guy Tootle,
Yep.
Jermichael Garrett. Like there's so. I see a very bright future for Auburn defense, and for all you old school cats, that love Auburn built their program on solid defense, it's coming. It's coming, and it's coming soon. And Blake, I expect this defense to get better as the season goes on. I think by like week 8 or 9, they're really going to have the system down. These young guys are going to have played in some big games, and they're really going to be ready for the moment. I mean, Eugene looked fine last night. He just wasn't asked to do a whole lot. Like we didn't even have to unleash Eugene on him last night. You know what I mean?
Get him off the field. Don't get him
there's
hurt.
a lot of potential for this defense, man.
Yeah, it's there, man. Like the talent at Auburn is growing, and you see it in recruiting. And I think, the transfers played well. Like if I see Philip Bliddy in the comments, I thought all of those guys brought it last night. Even Zacchaeus Walker, I thought that's a guy that waited his turn, and
He played good.
yeah, he had a nice little game last night. So I think you're seeing a team that is coming together, believing in each other. I know Hugh preached that all off season is I do want this team to be good. I do want this team to have success. But how are you going to buy in? Because you didn't buy in last year. So are you going to buy in this year? And I know you want to have your personal success. But you gotta be a team. Because you're only going to go as far as you possibly can if you're a team. If you play a team game, man. Like last night, do you think Cam Coleman, when he come out and he didn't get the ball didn't go to him first, he didn't get the first touch, do you think Cam Coleman was over there taking his helmet off saying, "Come on, coach, like give me the ball"? I don't think that's happening this year at Auburn. I think there was some stuff last year where I'm not getting the ball and let me rip the helmet off and say, "Hey man, me." I think it's different this year, and I think these kids are having a blast. You heard all off season. Well, how are you going to spread the ball around to the freeze four? How are you going to get them? They're going to be so unhappy. There's just too many receivers on the field, and you can't put them all out there at once. Well, it looked like they spread it around last night. It looks like they all had fun last night.
They all scored, yeah.
They all, they were all out there celebrating, and KLS was I mean, it looked like a fun time. So I think this team's having fun. They're gelling together. They're going to continue to grow and get better. And you see a little excitement, man. You see that juice on the sideline. You see it just pulling out of the players, and that's what really stuck out last night.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to do player of the game on offensive defense, and then we're going to get out of here. Before we do that, guys, please share this thing out on social media. Let everybody know we're in here, what we're doing. Smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Player of the game on offense for me, Blake. I'm gonna have to go with PT, man. I mean, that's all eyes on him. I understand the opponent, but what's the alternative? The alternative is he comes out and he looks shaky. Auburn still wins, just out athletes him and all that, but he just doesn't look shaky. He doesn't look confident, and there's a whole lot of questions. But anybody looking at this objectively, you can't say that he didn't look, a step better than he did last year. And we take the opponent and all that into consideration. But as far as week 1, doing what you can do, I think Payton did his thing. And I'm impressed with the offense as a whole. Like Malcolm Simmons could be a guy here. But like you said, it all kind of got spread around. So it's like nobody else really has numbers, So it's for me, it's Payton Thorne. Just, hey, man, it's not easy. Like, it can't be easy being an SEC quarterback, having hundreds of thousands, half the state talking bad about you, all the pressure in the world on you. You got to sit there and hear it for an entire 6-7 months during the summer, and you're going to practice every day, and you think I'm gonna show them. May you're getting. I'm gonna show them. Get to June, July. Well, the moment showed up. The lights finally got here for PT, and he stepped up to the plate. He's still got a lot more challenges ahead of him. We'll be right back at this thing at 2:30 next week, and he's got to play well. But he passed the test week 1, and I feel a little bit more confident going forward. And as far as like I said, I still think there's going to be some lows this year because I'm out there counting all the freshmen we're playing. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, I said all summer we're going to have a lot of young guys playing, and that wasn't breaking news. You said it, but even just seeing them all playing last night as early as it did, I was like, wow, we are going to be counting on a lot of young guys. But watching the way PT played, man, I think it made me feel like maybe the ceiling, like when this team is on point and when they're playing their best, it kind of made my expectations for the ceiling to raise a little bit. Like, hey, if we're doing everything right, maybe we can mess around and compete in some games that I didn't think we could compete in. And Payton Thorne's performance last night made me feel that way. So my offensive player of the game is Payton Thorne.
I agree with you here. I think you could throw Malcolm in there just because when you come out the gate getting after it, right? And you just see him in open space out in the open field. It's one cut to the crib. Absolutely electric with the ball in his hands. But I think when we look at the bigger picture of what we needed to see last night is you needed to see your quarterback come out and have a pretty dang good performance, not turn the football over, which was super big to me. And just see that confidence kind of ooze out of him. And I think you did. I think you saw that. I think you saw a very confident Payton Thorne. I think you saw a Payton Thorne that really pushed the ball down the field and trusted in his receivers.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with how one played last night. And I'm very pleased with how the fans reacted to Payton Thorne. And I think he's going to have a pretty dang good year, man. I really do. I'm excited for Saturday against Cal. I think that's going to be his. I think that's going to be his turning point.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, on the defensive side, go real quick. This one's kind of tough. But I'm going to go with Malik Blockton, man. I'm going to go with Malik Blockton. When you look at the stats, it's kind of all over the place because so many guys played. So it's kind of hard to pick one. Like we talked about, Mohosi played great. Robert Woodyard played great. Jalen McLeod led the team in tackles and had a sack. He could easily be, my candidate here. But I'm going to go with Malik just because you're a true freshman. You're 18 years old, and you come out here day one, and you're letting everybody know, like, I'm going to be in the rotations with the starters all year. And if this is what he is day one, well, I can't wait to see him by game 12. So just shout out to Malik, man, like stepping up. And we heard about it all summer, and Amaris played great too. But boy, that was one hell of a debut. He looked just like his older brother down there on that line, man. I love it. Really fired up for the future of this kid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dorian Mausi just because I think he's got a motor that can't be matched, man. That dude was flying around to the football last night. Great in coverage. I think that's one of the things we kind of wanted to see Auburn linebackers get better at this year was, hey, we gotta get better in coverage. And I think he was just all over the field. He didn't run himself out of plays. He didn't over pursue. He was locked in, and I think he fits very, very well in this DJ Durkin defense. A for sure tackler too. Goes in, no arm tackling, about the business, lays the wood, and he's a dang good player, man. I was a little when he transferred in. I didn't know much about him, and I was a little like, is this dude going to be a player? And I think we found out last night that dude can play, and he's a big addition to this Auburn defense. So I'll give him the nod there. I love what you said about all these cats on defense. To see Jalen come out and have that performance last night in week one, and just say, hey, I'm here. There was a play where Kieron Crawford was in coverage, and he made a nice little play out in the flats out there, and I think it's exciting, man, that now you have this week one, you grow on this, you get in the film room, you get ready for Cal. And I say you go out there and you just absolutely lay the hammer down on Cal and you beat the piss out of them. Because Cal, look, they haven't been good since Marshawn and Deshaun and A-Rod and all that, right? So I think you got to go out there. You're at home, and you got to make a statement. And you got to, like last night, you got to beat people that you're supposed to beat, and you got to do it handily. Like, make a statement this Saturday. Go out there and let the world of college football know that the Auburn Tigers are back, and they're going to be something to deal with in 2024. it starts Saturday. I'm tired of going out and struggling with teams that we shouldn't struggle with. And it's time to make it happen, man. For real. Like Auburn's, you got the opportunity at home to go beat the piss out of somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%, man. Good stuff. Auburn's 1-0, 800th all-time win. Only 13 programs in college football have done that. You can't overlook it. Blake gets pissed off all the time and tries to let y'all know, hey, Auburn's a program now. Don't act like Auburn ain't been there before. Don't quit talking down on us. And 800 wins, that's nothing to scoff at, man. Like I said, we do this football thing. So the toilet paper covering the trees at Toomer's Corner right now. It's a good weekend.
Facts.
We will be back, man, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Special guest from the Cal Beat coming to break down the Cal Bears. He's a great dude, Thomas Dunn. It'll be great content. So we'll see you guys Tuesday, 7 p.m. And members, stay on the lookout. We got these member pods dropping for you here the next couple of days. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. It's War Damn Eagle, baby.
War Damn, baby.